How's it going, YouTube? My name is Trey. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create a doubly linked list in Java. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell if you want to watch more of my videos. Alright, let's get straight to the code. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is create our node class, which will be embedded inside of our doubly linked class. So we're going to start with class, node, and for our node class we're going to have data, which will be integers, so int data. Next we're going to have a node that represents the previous node. Next we're going to have a node that represents the next node in our linked list. For our constructor we're going to have node int data, and we're going to set this dot data to data. Next we're going to create a method that prints out the node's data. So we're going to have public void print node. Inside of our method we're simply going to say system out this dot data. Actually we're going to change it to system out print instead of a print line. Alright, next we need to create our data fields for our doubly linked list. Alright, so for our doubly linked list we're going to be adding items to the end of our list. So in order for that to happen, for our doubly linked list, we need to have a node head and a node tail. For our doubly linked list constructor, we're going to have doubly linked list with nothing in our parameters. Inside of our constructor, we're going to set head to null, and we're going to set tail to null. So next, we're going to create our insert method. Alright, so first in our insert method we need to create a new node that takes in our data. So node, new node is equal to new node data. Alright, next we need to check if our linked list is empty. And how do we do that? We need to check if our head is null. So if head is null, we simply set head to our new node and our tail to head, because that's the only item in our list. Alright, next we need to check if our linked list only has one item. So if head.next is equal to null, we're going to set head.next as our tail. Then we are going to set tail.next to our new node. And lastly, we're going to have new node that prev equal to tail. Alright, next we need to check if we already have at least two items in our list. So else, inside of else we're going to have a while loop, so while tail dot next, because we're only inserting items to the end of our list. So tail dot next is not equal to null. Inside of our while loop we're going to set tail to tail dot next, because we need to find a spot to put in our new node. Alright, once we reach the end of our list, we're going to set tail.next to the new node. And our new node previous to our tail. And that reaches the end of our insert method. So next, we're going to do our delete method. Alright, so for our delete method, the first thing we need to check is if our linked list is empty. So if head is null, we will simply print out list is empty. Next, we're going to check if the data that we're deleting from is our head. So if head.data is equal to data, we simply set head to head.next. Oh, change it to else if. Alright, so next we need to check if the data that we're deleting isn't the head of our linked list. So else if head.data is not equal to data. We're going to first create a node called current node that's going to sift through or look through our linked list. So node, current node, and point it to our head. And next we're going to create a Boolean variable that tells us whether or not the data that we're trying to delete from our linked list actually exists. So Boolean node exists, and we're going to set that to false. Alright, next we need to create a while loop. So while current node is not equal to null and our node exists isn't true, we're going to check if current node data is equal to the data that we're looking for. If we found our data, we're going to set current node prev.next to next, or current node.next. We're going to set node exists to true. And lastly, we break from our while loop. Outside of our if, we're going to set current node to current node.next to keep looking through our list until we find our item that we're deleting. Alright, the next thing we need to check for if we didn't find the data that we were looking for. So if node exists is equal to false, we are going to print node doesn't exist. And that marks the end of our delete method. Alright, now we're going to create our print list and then we're going to test our methods. Alright, so for our print method, we need to check if head is equal to null. And if it is, we simply print list is empty. Else, we're going to have a while loop checking if head is not null. Inside of our while loop, we're going to print head.print node, which prints out the head's data. And we're going to have our print, not print line, but print. And we're going to print out an arrow to point to the next node in our linked list. And lastly, we're going to set head to head.next. Alright, now it's time to test our methods in our main method. So for our main method, we need to create first our doubly linked list. So doubly linked list DL is equal to new doubly linked list. For our example, we're going to have DL.insert 5, DL insert 4, DL insert 3. And we're going to print out our linked list. So DL.print list, and let's check our results. Yep, and we have 5, 4, 3. Alright, next we need to test our delete method. So let's get rid of this print line or print list, and let's delete the head of our node. So DL.delete 5, and we have 4 and 3. Now instead of 5, let's delete 4, and now we have 5 pointing to 3. Now let's just delete 3. Alright, now we have 5, 4, but no 3. Now, one more test. Let's try to delete a node that we haven't added to our list. So let's try to delete 2. And let's get rid of our print list. And let's see what happens. Yep, and it tells us it doesn't exist. So that's how you create a doubly linked list in Java. If you have any questions, comment below. Alright, thank you for watching.